Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at the Gtech Community Stadium has just restarted. Brentford leading against West Ham by a 1-0. And the ball now played to the edge of the Brentford penalty area. We're expecting more of the same from West Ham, and a strike coming in straight away. A loose ball at the edge of the box drops to Lucas Paqueta, a player that was on both of our hit lists in the first half as not doing enough for the position that he's supposed to be in, that West Ham number 10. But he tries to crack a shot early, although he gets it slightly wrong. It goes over the bar and away for a goal kick. But Brentford will certainly be looking to try and improve, really, because although they took the lead and are leading in this game, they didn't play much like a home side for long spells in that first half. They allowed West Ham quite a lot of licence to have possession, and if anything, Lopetegui's side might be frustrated they haven't taken advantage of that. But we'll wait and see how it plays out. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and James Smedley taking it through action. James, and from Brentford's point of view, they've got to try and actually take the game by the scruff of the neck, but if they don't, then West Ham showed in the first half that they can take advantage of that.
Absolutely. I mean, neither team were really stellar performers, and I think the substitutions Lopetegui's made, he's brought Kudus off, which is quite surprising, but he was marked out of the game multiple times when he went forward. He had just a crowd of Brentford bodies in front of him, which meant that he could never really create any chances. So maybe bringing on Soler, that more controlled midfielder, that might be able to create a little bit of space and bring a bit of control.
Is there going to be a bit of a reshuffle? Because I can't imagine it would be pointless having Soler playing in that left-sided role. It may well be that they ask maybe even Paqueta to drift a bit further out, but we'll come back to that in a second, because in the meantime Brentford have won themselves a corner here. It's the long ball played to the edge of the area, which was cleared out, so now it's a chance for Brentford to try and get a ball into the box. And it's a short corner here, and Mbeumo gets the ball from Carvalho, then he lays it off to Damsgaard, back to Carvalho. He then whips the ball in towards around about the penalty spot. It's only partially cleared, back to Carvalho, who then back heels it into Mbeumo, trying to force the issue by winning his side a corner. Has he managed it? I think he just about has. He's going to be out for a corner kick. Slightly frustrated look there on the face of Tomas Soucek. Chance now for Brentford to get players, well, still got players in the box after the previous set piece. Last time it was a short ball between Carvalho and Mbeumo. Same again, but Mbeumo this time puts that ball into the 6-yard box. It's headed up in the air. Still got to be dealt with, and it's Bowen's header towards the edge of the box. Damsgaard then heads it back towards the danger area. Then he chases the ball as Mbeumo tried to head it back into his path, but it's out for a goal kick.
It is Brentford starting again really strongly in the opening few moments. They scored, of course, within the first minute. First Premier League side to ever score in the opening minute in 3 consecutive matches. So that's a record that Thomas Frank can hold close. But I think one of the problems with that is that they score goals, but then maybe sit deep a little bit. And they need to, if they want to keep winning games, because, as I say, in the last 5 games they've taken the lead. They've lost 2 of them and won 2. So really they need to kind of have that control and keep creating chances as they go on.
No, they absolutely do. I think that scoring away at Man City, and then they actually played really well in the first half an hour of that game, but then couldn't really manage it. But just as I say that, West Ham have left a loose ball in midfield, and this is an invitation for Mbeumo. He's charging into the box, tries to feed that ball into Sharda. The pass just a little bit under hit allows for Kilman to get a clearance in. And then West Ham do keep the ball alive on their left-hand side. It's played up towards the halfway line. Antonio doing well just to shield that ball away from Ethan Pinnock. He backheels it, and now all of a sudden West Ham are on the counter. And it's Wan-Bissaka playing on the left now in this second half. He gets into the penalty. It's a great run from Wan-Bissaka. He's into the 6-yard box. Tries to lay it off to a teammate. Antonio was waiting. 2 other teammates waiting as well, but it's been put out for a corner kick. But Wan-Bissaka switching to that left-hand side after the substitution of Emerson. And I tell you what, he did really well on that left as well.
He did indeed. He likes to get forward, Wan-Bissaka. He's got a little bit more freedom playing at West Ham this year as opposed to when he played at Man United. He's allowed to, stride forward, and it was a really crucial intervention there by Collins, I think it was, to put it behind for a corner.
Out swinging corner, the header towards goal. It's not got too much power on it, and it's angling away as well. So Flecken just followed that one before he could tell that it was going out for a goal kick. I think it may have been off the head of Todibo. But just to remind you of the 2 teams, Flecken is in goal for Brentford. It's a back 4 of Sepp Vandenberg. Well, it's a back 3 of Sepp Vandenberg, Ethan Pinnock, and Nathan Collins. Christopher Ayer and it looks like Lewis Potter are the 2 wide men. Then it's Janelt and Damsgaard in midfield with Sharda, Carvalho and Mbeumo as the 3 up front. For West Ham, it is Alphonse Areola in goal, a back 4 of Kostas Mavropanos, who comes on for Emerson, Jean-Claire Todibo, Max Kilman and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And it's a 3 in midfield, Tomas Soucek, Guido Rodriguez and Carlos Soler, who comes on to replace Mohamed Kudus, with Jared Bowen, Lucas Paqueta and Mikael Antonio as the attacking three for West Ham at the start of this second half. And here come the Hammers now in their all-change black kit this afternoon. On the attack down the left, it's Wan-Bissaka's ball. It's a good ball as well. Needed a good strong header there from Pinnock, and then it drops on the right-hand side. Well, Kostas Mavropanos is a sort of a makeshift right back, and he needs to remember that, really, because it's not really in his arsenal to be hitting it on the volley from 25 yards.
No, I mean, you can kind of see why he's done it. He saw his name on the front page of the newspaper as he fired up that volley, but yeah, nowhere near. But yeah, they've got a little bit more space, I think, in that fullback area, West Ham, and that's an area that I think Lopetegui would be really keen to exploit. We've seen Wan-Bissaka go through a couple of times so far, having a little bit of freedom down that left-hand side, and Mavropanos there with a bit of space for that volley. And you know, I think not even on another day, in another lifetime, that one might fly into the top corner. But West Ham are getting a little bit more room.
They are getting a bit more room. We've got a bit of a break in play here now. Brentford's Kevin Schade is down on the ground, and just the facial expressions, the body language doesn't look good here from the German forward. It may well be that he's going to have to be replaced. The bench for Brentford, by the way, is Konak, Yagane, Roslev, Kim Ju-so, Yarmoliuk, Trevitt, Megoma, and goalkeeper Valdimarsson. For West Ham, it's Cresswell, Somerville, Ings, Luis Guilherme, Irving, Sofal, and goalkeeper Fabianski. And of course, they've already used two of their subs with Soler and Mavropanos coming on. That's to say, Brentford's attack line is, I wouldn't say it's threadbare, but it's getting close to being threadbare if Schade has to go off now.
Yeah, indeed. It's not really looking good for the Bees. Schade, well, he's walking okay, but he's being supported off by the physios. And as you say, if he's out injured, then you really do look to that bench and wonder, you know, who can they bring on? You've got Trevitt, who maybe can impact the game in an attacking sense, but other than that, I mean, you're much more experienced with the Brentford team, Paul. So maybe.
I think that there would have to be a little bit of rejigging anyway. It may well be they would have to ask somebody like Yarmoliuk to come on for central midfield, and then ask Damsgaard to sort of almost play like an attacking winger, which is a position that he could do. There's no issue with that. But long clearance now from goalkeeper Mark Fleckman. Wait to see whether or not Kevin Schade can come back onto the field. West Ham win the ball back after that long clearance, and it's a ball played forward towards Antonio. He can't quite get there before Lewis Potter sends a quick ball back to his goalkeeper, who is being closed down. Long clearance though from Flecken back towards the halfway line. Can't see if Schade has come back on the field, so Brentford still down to 10 momentarily. West Ham won a free kick for that tangle between Antonio and Pinnock. Referee Simon Hooper, they're interested in fact beckoning for Schade to come back onto the field. So for the time being, Brentford's number 7 is okay to play on. And it's now with Lewis Potter down the left-hand side. Not a good ball from him, though. That's easily cut out by Rodriguez. And now here come West Ham. There's a lunge there from Ayer. He misses Bowen. Bowen gets into the box, fires one into the 6-yard box. Good block in the end there from Pinnock, not just to stop the ball, but actually avoid a corner. It's just out for a throw. Yeah,
West Ham, though, growing ever more present in the attack in this second half. Ayer, I said in the first half how well he's done to cope with the threat of Bowen, but I think his legs might be going a little bit now, because Bowen is able to just skip away from him really easily and get that cross into the area. And as this continues, you think there's only one team that's going to be creating the chances.
Well, it looks like it's a long ball launched in by Mavropanos. It's headed away back to Mavropanos. He then plays the role of playmaker there, putting a cross into the box, which is cleared away. Can tell you that Fulham have taken an early lead in the second half away at the City Ground. It's Nottingham Forest 0, Fulham 1, and it's Raul Jimenez from the penalty spot giving the Cottagers the leader in that game. They've only just restarted at Stamford Bridge. They had about 9 minutes of added time in that first half. But here come West Ham again. Lovely little back heel there to get the ball in towards Antonio. He goes for goal. He can't get the shot away. West Ham have an equaliser. And quite frankly, it's been coming since the start of the first half, really. Ever since Brentford got their goal, they've sat back, invited West Ham pressure, and they've not learnt from their mistakes in the first half, and West Ham have an equaliser.
Well, it was lovely play there from a combination of West Ham attackers. It was Bowen to Antonio, then back to Bowen, then Antonio tries the volley, and if he'd have struck that cleanly, it would have been one of the goal of the seasons. But it then kind of bobbles and then finds its way to Soucek, and his finish is good enough to fly past Flecken and into the back of the net. We're looking at replays to see if there's an offside. There isn't, but it was lovely build-up play into Soucek. The deflection there finds the Czech Republican, and he is onside from that Antonio strikes. The goal will stand, and I mentioned moments ago West Ham looked to be the team that were going to score. and they have indeed. Brentford just haven't been able to get the ball out of their half and create any chances of their own.
Well, Paqueta was instrumental in that goal. It was his work at the edge of the box that then found Bowen, then a little bit of pinball before it gets through to Soucek. But it's poor from Brentford. Their offside line was in 2 phases. It didn't look like a very succinct offside line, and once it gets through to Soucek, he was always going to be favoured to score from that sort of range. So frustration for Brentford, but joy for West Ham. There's certainly value for this equaliser looking at the 55 minutes we've had so far. It really is game on at the Gtech now. Who knows, maybe this might work as a motivation for Brentford to actually try and play more like the home team, because they have just invited West Ham pressure time and time again. And even if West Ham are a little bit off colour and struggling for form, if you would keep inviting them to go forward, they're eventually going to take advantage.
They are, and Bowen again is going even more presentful down that right hand side, trying to take on Ayer, but Ayer's now getting a little bit more support from Lewis Potter. They're trying to double up on Bowen, but again that takes then another attacker out of the mix for Brentford, and they've gone behind here. They'll be wanting to get all 3 points at home, but the more they have to defend like they're doing again now, the less chance they will have to go back in front.
Well, here come West Ham straight away, and they're on the... To tell you what, that overlap pass to Wan-Bissaka was good. It was Mbumo covering the edge of his own box that stops that. And here come West Ham again down the right-hand side this time. Bowen breaking into the box. He has an overlap from Mavropanos. Sets it up, though, for Antonio, who's off balance and sort of toe ends that ball over the bar. Not the best effort from him. But it's out for a goal kick and a little bit of a breather now for Brentford, which they actually need after this onslaught from West Ham in the last few minutes. It's all changed though at Goodison Park. Crystal Palace were 1-0 up in that game, but Everton have reversed it all in the second half. Dwight McNeil made it 1-1. Before Dwight McNeil made it 2-1. Both goals there from Dwight McNeil. He's had a good start to the season for Everton and a potential big 3 points for the home side in that one. But back here at the Gtech, Brentford have won the ball back in midfield. It's Janelt's ball up towards Shard, who does well to hold off pressure from 2 players, and it's a bit of a miscue clearance there from Mavropanos, and this is that's a poor ball though from Lewis Potter. He had the chance to play in Christopher Ayer, played a poor pass, and eventually it goes out for a goal kick, for a throw on I should say, to West Ham.
He did, yeah, he was gifted a chance there from Mavropanos' botched clearance, Lewis Potter, and at this kind of level, when it's been as cagey as this game has been, you've got to take more advantage of the space that's been afforded to you. And it was a wasteful play, wasteful pass in behind from the Brentford winger, and they should have done a lot better, the Bees there. But they're under pressure again now, and will that missed chance cost them?
Well, that's a lovely ball out from Paqueta out towards the left-hand side. You just feel as though West Ham have really come into this second half with impetus, whereas Brentford just haven't. They've just sort of been coasting, really. Long ball into the box now. Paqueta just about keeps it in play on the left-hand side. Back to Wan-Bissaka. Tell you what, that move to get Wan-Bissaka on the left is looking inspired right now.
It is indeed. He's got so much more room. I mean, I can't quite understand it from a tactical point of view, because Brentford in the first half, it was very cagey, but it was a lot more solid than this. They didn't have that. They didn't afford West Ham that room down the sides with the fullbacks. Whereas all that's happened is Wan-Bissaka's switched flanks, and all of a sudden he's got enough room to build a double bed house. And if this continues, then it's only going to be more room for the West Ham fullback, and the more chances that he'll be able to create for himself.
Here come West Ham again. Space down the right-hand side for Mavropanos. Ball into the box, taken down on the back heel by Jared Bowen. He didn't find this, didn't have enough space to use it though. And now Lewis Potter trying to start a counter. He vaults the challenge of Rodriguez, and he's off down the left-hand side. It's a great run from Lewis Potter. He gets to the edge of the area. He's got options in the box. The pass comes in, and it's cut out. It's out for a Brentford corner, or maybe even a throw, as Kilman gets on the end of that one. He's beckoning to the referee that it should only be a throw. It's good work from Lewis Potter. It was the right ball in, but Kilman was covering.
Yeah, Lewis Potter has really been the bright spark for Brentford so far in this game. As you said, not to use the word threadbare for this Brentford attack, but it certainly is. It doesn't have the same numbers as it did at the start of the season. They've got a lot of key players out, and Lewis Potter has done really, really well today. He's been really crucial and influential in the way Brentford played. He can play wing back, full back, and then today he's playing a more advanced role on the wing, and he's done well to create a chance there. But they do need that kind of presence in that midfield area, in that attacking area, to get on the end of that cross.
They absolutely do. It was Kilman who actually put out. It was put out for a throw rather than a corner, and it's Pinnacle launches a long throw into the box. Mavropanos heads it back straight to where it came from, so it's going to be another throw to Brentford on this left-hand side, level with the edge of the 6-yard box, I would say. Brentford do have a few long throw specialists. Pinnock is one of them, I think. Jensen's the main man, but he's been out injured recently for the Bees. Kevin Schade, speaking of injury, I feel like I've called that one on. Kevin Schade, with a really disappointed look on his face, is off the field, and he's going to be replaced here by the young Ukrainian Yeho Yarmolenko. That's not a like-for-like swap. Yarmolenko is more of a central midfielder than an attacking one, but it's a forced change. Here comes the throw, though, from Pinnock, aimed at the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed out, and it will be a corner. So Brentford just slowly are forcing the issue here a little bit now. What
I will say, though, is a little bit disappointed that it's taken Brentford to go behind to then start attacking at home. You'd think that, after scoring in the first minute, you then just want to apply all the pressure on West Ham, who, have been really out of form, and then try and, kill the game off early.
I'm a little bit surprised by Brentford's approach. I mean, as I say, scoring away to Man City and Spurs is a different matter to scoring at home to West Ham inside the first minute, and they should have done a little bit more, I think, to really take the game by the scruff of the neck in the first half an hour. But that's been and gone. We're an hour into the game. Unofficial independent off-tube shooter commentary is 1-1 between Brentford and West Ham. The corner kick is taken. It's a good, strong header away by Antonio. It's played back towards the edge of the box, and then it's lobbed up in the air there by Nathan Collins. Headed on towards Lucas Paqueta, who's trying to turn at the edge of the area. It didn't have enough space to do so. And then it's flicked up in the air by Damsgaard. A nice header on there from Pinnock to find Carvalho on the left-hand side. He hits the deck inside the box. The referee was very quick to say no penalty. Didn't think there was enough contact there anyway. But the ball has been won back here by Janelt, and now it's Damsgaard. He does well to keep the ball alive. And then it's played over towards Mbeumo, who likes to hug that right-hand side. He breaks into the box, plays one across the 6-yard box. It just gets away from Lucas Paqueta, and then there's going to be a free kick. No, the shot is allowed to be taken. I thought the referee might have blown up for a push at the edge of the box, but it's Yarmolenko's effort, and it's comfortably saved by Areola.
Yeah, but again, much better from Brentford in the attacking sense. They do really well to get the ball forward. I don't think it's a free kick there on Paqueta. I think he's looking for that contact, the Brazilian midfielder, to kind of relinquish a bit of pressure on his side, and Yarmolenko does well. It's an effort with the outside of his right foot, which to his credit is on target, and does trouble Areola a little bit, but it's a comfortable save for the Frenchman. But yeah, Brentford are putting a bit of pressure on, but just a shame from a B's point of view that it's a little bit too little too late, having conceded a goal to be back on level terms.
I do wonder what Thomas Frank would say about this after the game as to why his side drops off, because he made the point after the games at City and Spurs that it's all well and good playing well for an hour or for half an hour or for one half, but you've got to do it for the whole 90 minutes, and arguably they did it even less today, because they did actually put in a decent performance in those games at the Etihad and the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, certainly for the first half hour after they scored, but not even had that today, as there's an offside is there against Bowen. I think he was just gone a little bit too soon, and referee Simon Hooper is just making that point there. It will be a free kick to Brentford, taken short. It's with Vitaly Janelt now. There's been one effort on target in the second half from Brentford. There's been 6 from West Ham. In the first half, it was 4 for Brentford and 11. So overall, it's 5 efforts on goal from Brentford, 17 from West Ham. And Brentford are the home side, and Brentford took the lead in this game as well. So it's uncharacteristic for Brentford to have lose the the drive in this game as much as they have done this afternoon. Perhaps we have to pay some credit to West Ham as well for just how they responded to conceding early as well.
Absolutely. I mean, we do talk about Brentford not creating enough chances, but that is at part due to how well West Ham have defended. But Brentford coming forward again here with a shot from Carvalho, but it's blocked. But Brentford keep hold of the ball.
Yeah, still possession alive here on the left-hand side. Aya tried to flick that ball away from Bowen. It didn't quite work out. He's still able to keep the ball, though, and go back towards the halfway line here for Pinnock and Collins. Pressing here from Antonio. Now it's Yarmolenko. He spots a bit of space here down the right-hand side, and there's a chance for Damsgaard. Damsgaard's ball into the box. Oh, it reaches Mbeumo. I think there might have actually been a handball there as that ball was flicked by Soucek. It makes no difference because West Ham have cleared their lines anyway. And in midfield now it's Bowen with a long ball looking to try and start a run here for Antonio. And that's good covering there from Pinnock to Jamaican national team colleagues there. Antonio and Pinnock fighting for the ball. But it's back now with Sepp Vandenberg here for Brentford. It's been played at walking pace here again. So it doesn't do Brentford any favours. They're a better team when things are going quickly and there's a quicker exchange of passes. I'm not sure this kind of slow and lazy stuff actually suits their style of play at all.
No, I agree. They need to get the ball forward a lot quicker. I think, the quality of the players they've got, it means that they can, open teams up and create space, which we have seen in the last few moments, but they just need to do it more consistently. They need to really apply that pressure on West Ham, create chances, then try and get the goal to go back in front, because, as you've mentioned a few times, they're the home team, and they haven't really played like it for 60 minutes this match, but, they are trying to turn the pressure up now.
Well, they say they've had 1/3 of the efforts on goal that the away team have had, so that's a good indication that they really haven't been stepping forward and having that dominance that you would expect from a team playing at their own ground. But they're trying to get something started in now. A ball down the left does get a deflection off a West Ham player, so it's out for a Brentford throw. Waiting to take this one. Thomas Frank turning to his bench there, potentially. Just having a quick word there with Klaus Norgard, no relation to Christian, just a coincidental surname there, but his assistant will be probably trying to suggest maybe either another substitution or just perhaps it's that fine balance of wanting to be more dominant to try and win the game, but also not leaving yourself too open. Certainly a spell now where Brentford are seeing more of the ball, but whether or not they can do anything with it remains to be seen. It's back on the halfway line now here with Yarmoliuk. He's it to Collins. Now it's Damsgaard under pressure, just about gets it towards Nathan Collins. It's flicked up in the air by Soucek. Bouncing ball here that Bowen is fighting for, although Ayer does really well to not only win it but turn away from Jarrod Bowen, and he fires a ball up towards I think Carvalho couldn't quite control it, neither could Lewis Potter. Brentford still have a chance, though. A little back heel there to Lewis Potter. Perhaps he's just being a little bit too over-elaborate now, is Christopher Ayer. Ball now won back by Todibo, who plays it towards his goalkeeper. Areola clears it up towards the halfway line, but it's straight into Brentford possession. West Ham need to do something to try and break this spell of Brentford possession, but in fairness, they're not really doing too much with it at the home side, even though they're seeing a lot of the ball.
No, exactly. I mean, Brentford have got a lot of the ball now, much more than they've seen in any other periods of this game, but they're not creating any chances with it. They need to get the ball into the dangerous areas out wide, like West Ham did to create their own equaliser. And they need to get the ball wide, put crosses into the box and create some chances as the referee brandishes a yellow card. It's a free kick in the middle of the park.
Yeah, I think there was an attempt for West Ham to try and start something on the counter, and it looks like Yarmoliuk's just got himself in the way to try and stop that. And to say he's taken one for the team there, but he's always going to get a booking. It wasn't much of an effort to actually play the ball there from the young Ukrainian. So over on the left-hand side now, as Brentford looking to try and win this ball back, but it's that troublesome man again, Wan-Bissaka. He's off down the left, although I think this time he may have given a free kick away. It's debatable how much of a foul there was, though, from the West Ham man, but Brentford won't mind because I think Wan-Bissaka was winning that race.
Yeah, he was indeed. Wan-Bissaka, I mean, it's a bit of a contentious decision for the referee there. I think both players have got hold of each other, but whether or not Wan-Bissaka does enough to give away a foul, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, again, we're just seeing that freedom Wan-Bissaka's got. He's almost playing as a winger now in this second half, getting so high up that left-hand side as opposed to the right-hand side in the first half. And it's just meaning that he's got so much more freedom to attack and create. But then again, West Ham, they haven't really been able to find him as much in the last 15-20 minutes.
No, they haven't. Just to tell you very quickly about another game in the Premier League this afternoon, it was 2-0 to Arsenal at half-time against Leicester City. It's now 2-2 with a brace from James Justin, of all people. That really is a surprise. But here comes Lewis Potter for Brentford. Gets to the edge of the area. It was a little bit of contact there just outside the box, but probably not enough with Todibo there for the referee to consider a free kick. It's now back with Mavropanos. And he tries a switch. Well, bizarre ball from Mavropanos. He wasn't under that much pressure, but he just fires a ball from right to left and gives Brentford a throw on at the edge of the West Ham penalty area, which is taken quickly. And Bumo now going back towards Yarmoliuk. It's with Damsgaard now trying to get away from Paqueta. Back into midfield here for Collins and now Pinnock. Space here for Ethan Pinnock, although still quite a long way from goal. Now it's Lewis Potter on the left-hand side. His crosses charged down, and it's out for a throw to Brentford. Mavropanos getting himself in the way of that one. Lewis Potter gets the ball back after taking the throw himself. Moves back to Janel, 30 yards out from goal here. Now Carvalho to Lewis Potter again. Now Pinnock with options here, but West Ham once again flooding the edge of their own box. Carvalho trying to take everybody on now. Runs into Soucek, and that one's cleared up towards the half-end on Antonio with the header. But Collins gets himself in the way. Brentford trying to get something started again here down the left-hand side. They're going to get a free kick here, I think, for a push in the back. Tomas Soucek is saying he's only won the ball, but the referee disagrees. This will be a good chance for Brentford, but we're past the three-quarter mark in the game. It is Brentford 1, West Ham 1, and it will be James to take us through to full-time.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a bit of a nasty challenge from Soucek, right in the back of Janel, and I think that's a deserved free kick that goes against West Ham. And again, we've had a few free kicks for Brentford in decent opportunities. One from Carvalho, which hit straight into the one-man wall, and one from Mbeumo, which was again into the wall, but to give him a bit of credit, that was from very close range and would have been a difficult one to get on target. This one is from a similar position to the Carvalho one in the first half, but on the left-hand side it's quite wide, almost in line with the edge of the box on the left. And it's going to be a left-footed out-swinging delivery from Mbeumo. Carvalho is I think he's been taken off set-piece duties after that abysmal one in the first half, so it will be definitely Mbeumo to take this one. And an out-swinging ball. There's a one-man wall of Bowen. The ball goes over the top. It's a decent effort, and it was looking for the middle towards Ayer, I think it was, but Todibo does just enough to direct that one behind for a corner.
He's gone behind. He has gone behind for a corner. Referee signalled that straight away. But I did notice that both sets of players were looking to. I think West Ham felt as though there might have been a bit of a shove in the back around about the penalty spot, which they were hoping the referee would have classed as a free kick. But it's not the case, and it is going to be Antonio still trying to get the point there to Simon Hooper. But we are going to see this corner kick now.
We are indeed. It's going to be another set piece for Brentford. They haven't quite been able to capitalise on them so far this game, and you have to say, 70 minutes in, it's been 69 minutes since Brentford have scored a goal, and they haven't really created too many meaningful chances, but this could be one here. Ball goes short to Mbeumo, gets it back off Carvalho. Carvalho then tries to turn Soler, but it's a really poor attempt, and then Bowen's able to come away with the ball, but Mbeumo robs it and puts it first on delivery into the box, looking for Luis Potter, but it's headed away, and eventually Rodriguez can try to get it clear. West Ham make an absolute meal of this one, and they do in fact get it clear eventually to Collins. Not quite sure the style of play West Ham were trying to implement there in the back, because Soler tried to do a back heel.
Yeah, I mean that was far too elaborate. But in fairness, when that ball was put in quickly by Mbeumo, there was one Brentford player in the box and about 6 West Ham players. But here come the home side again. Yeah,
Luis Potter driving inside, gets the better of Mavropanos, chance to put the ball wide, does indeed, gets it out to Yarmoliak, who's got a little bit of time to turn, and then does so. Finds Carvalho, then gets the ball into a dangerous area towards Mbeumo at the back post, but it was a crucial intervention by Mavropanos to see that one behind for a corner.
Well, it's one-way traffic now, albeit not much of it actually heading towards goal. It's sort of heading close to goal, but being stopped around about the edge of the box. But set pieces starting to stack up here for Brentford. Just need to be a little bit more productive with them, and they're going to give one more chance into Carvalho. In fairness, him and Mbeumo have been taking these short corner kicks now, but we'll see how Carvalho is going to take this one.
I mean, I don't know whether it's just a personal thing, but I just think corner kicks, you've got to get the ball in the box. They've got a lot of physical players with height in the box there, Brentford. I think just get the ball in the box, and they do here. Carvalho looking for the front post. It was towards Ayer, it's flicked away. Brentford try to get it back in the mixer, but then it's pumped away by Soler, and Brentford have to chase backwards, which Janelt does really well.
Well, I'm very much of the school that a whipped in swinger is going to cause a lot more problems than these short corners that sometimes 3 passes later are back on the halfway line anyway. So I think it's more useful to try and attack the goal than just to try and keep possession from a corner. But as I say, it's part of the trend of teams being taught that they're not allowed to give the ball away.
Ball forward here from Damsgaard, looking for Mbeumo, but it's dealt with well by Kilman, and Areola able to just collect that one and then play out to Soler, the substitute, signed from Paris Saint-Germain in the summer. He's yet to really make himself a mainstay in the starting 11 for West Ham, often coming off the bench as he did against Tottenham, so we'll see if he can really have any kind of meaningful impact in the closing 20 or so minutes of this game. He likes to drop a lot deeper. He was brought on, of course, for Mohamed Kudus, who is obviously a much more advanced, skillful player than Soler, but maybe Lopetegui just wanted a bit more control in the midfield there, but I don't think West Ham have really had that.
No, they haven't. I mean, the last few minutes have been much better for Brentford in terms of the possession, but West Ham, to their credit, have actually done very well in terms of absorbing that, and there's still been a lot more work for Areola's defenders than for the goalkeeper himself.
Absolutely, they've done really, really well to nullify that threat that Brentford have had. I mean, they haven't had a lot of the ball, West Ham, in this second half, but that being said, they've scored an equaliser.
Well, they started so well, didn't they? I said that they had the efforts on goal early in this second half. They got their equaliser around 10 or 11 minutes in, and now they're looking to try and spice things up front, because it's Danny Ings getting ready to come on. I
assume that'll be for Mikael Antonio, who hasn't really had too many main moments in this second half, I wouldn't say. But Brentford coming forward here, it's a good chance. It's Yarmoliak down the right-hand side of the pitch, gives it back inside to Damsgaard, who's got a bit of time on the ball, goes inside to Janelt, then back to Damsgaard, got a chance to cross it, and it was Damsgaard that made a run forward, taken out by Soler. He's complaining at the referee and to Soler, but I don't think that was too much in that.
No,
one.
I think the pass to him was overhit anyway. I don't think he's getting on the end of that, even if he wasn't clattered into. How much of a collision there was, how deliberate it was from the West Ham players' point of view, I think is also debatable. It may well be that the Brentford player was trying to force a bit of contact because he could see he wasn't going to get on the end of the pass.
Yeah, Antonio trying to make himself busy in the last few moments. I think he might know that his race is run. And as I say that, he then kicks the ball out for a throw-in, almost inviting himself to leave the field of play. So West Ham, well, I'm not quite sure what the delay is. Oh, they do now make the substitution. It is Antonio to come off for Danny Ings, who, as you said, has come off the bench and grabbed a few goals for West Ham.
Double change, in fact.
Yeah, it's a double change. Lopetegui really wanted to change things around, and it's going to be Somerville coming on to replace Paqueta as well, who we mentioned in the first half dropped really, really deep. I think a little bit too deep for our liking, just not creating enough chances. But then again, he was quite crucial in creating the equalising goal, so he might be a little bit disappointed to be taken off.
Well, he certainly is. I mean, all the body language and the facial expression there, the head turning there, he's not happy at all. Is Lucas Paqueta, but then, as I say, I mean, if he's going to be annoyed about having to go off, I mean, he needed to have played a better game. I think he was anonymous for long spells in the first half, and you can't have a central midfielder who's anonymous. He has to see a lot of the ball. So, yeah, that's certainly one. But the fact that now they've got Ings and Somerville on for the last 15 minutes means that that's a sign from Lopetegui that he wants his side to try and just go for the ball a little bit more and give themselves an actual chance of still winning this game.
Absolutely, I think. Crescenzio Somerville, signed from Leeds United in the summer, I think has been fairly positive for West Ham, but hasn't quite managed to get into the starting 11, been a mainstay in the starting 11 so far, but he'll want to make a good impression in this game, coming on with about 50 minutes of normal time left to play. West Ham do have the ball in the middle of the park. It's given out wide towards Tomas Soucek, then an overlapping run from Danny Ings, who's drifted really far wide, tries to put a cross in, but easy catching practice for Flecken at his front post. So a bit disappointing from a West Ham perspective there.
Yeah, that was too easy for Flecken. It's been a while since they've been in an attacking position outside the Brentford box. They wanted to have, sure they would have wanted to see that be a little bit more dangerous. But Flecken now playing out from the back, taking a big risk. There's 4 West Ham players lurking at the edge of the box, and Flecken is eventually able to clear it, but not too far.
Yeah, Somerville thought he could get away there, but his pass looking for Tomas Soucek was a poor one, and then eventually Brentford able to make something of the ball, but it's given away again. It's clipped in ball from Wan-Bissaka looking for Somerville's run, but it was just behind the Dutch winger, so Brentford able to clear their lines. Now it's to the feet of Todibo. He's not got a lot of options in front of him. He's squared up by Carvalho, so goes back to his goalkeeper Areola, who then plays a long ball out wide towards the right-hand side of the pitch, looking towards Mavropanos, who does well, the Greek makeshift fullback, to bring the ball down and play it inside towards Kilman. Kilman then plays a nice ball out to Wan-Bissaka, but it just bobbles off the English fullback's left boot and will roll behind for a goal kick. But again, Wan-Bissaka getting really, really far forward, and I think West Ham have grown into this one a little bit more.
They are. There was that spell about 5-6 minutes ago where Brentford couldn't, West Ham couldn't get the ball past the halfway line. Brentford were just coming time and time again, but it was all midfield possession, edge of the box, nothing dangerous into the penalty area really. And now West Ham have responded with a bit of attacking possession themselves, and they've won themselves a corner. They
have indeed. Jared Bowen within an outswinging corner on his left boot, looking towards, you'd imagine, Tomas Soucek. Can he grab a brace? It is fizzed in the middle. It's a bouncing ball. It's just flashed across the face of goal. Mavropanos keeps it in play, looks Bowen at the back post, but it just bobbles out of play, and Brentford are able to get clear, and Bowen just clips the ball past Todibo and is taken out, so the referee will award a free kick just outside the Brentford box.
Yeah, and Boomer will be delighted to win that free kick for his side, because things were starting to get a little bit hairy for Brentford there inside the box. They'll be very grateful that header that went across away from Flecken was heading off target. And Boomer, not too much in it from Wan-Bissaka, but just enough felt the referee to stop play and give Brentford a little bit of respite.
Yeah, and they'll need a little breather, Brentford. They've been so dominant for so much of this second half, but in the last 5 or 10 minutes, they've really been under the cosh from West Ham. They've got a chance to play out from the back now. Lewis Potter plays a nice ball into Carvalho, does a lovely little spin inside and is able to regain possession. Plays it into Damsgaard, who then goes back to Ethan Pinnock. Pinnock then goes to his goalkeeper Flecken, who's donned a black cap. I think he's got the sun in his eyes in this second half, so if you were wondering why he looks a little bit informal in goal today, that is the
well, I'm old enough to remember a time where goalies wouldn't have left the dressing room without having a baseball cap as part of their kit, with the towel and the water and everything else, just because there was a lot more of an issue about sun in the eyes. But these days it is quite rare. That's why Flecken does look a little bit unusual in this day and age to have that cap on, but he's going to have to pay attention here, because here come West Ham again.
Yeah, he might be under a little bit of pressure. It was a ball forward for Mavropanos, but then the referee has blown up for a free kick, I believe, there, off the ball. Maybe Jared Bowen just colliding a little bit with Collins. And Brentford restarting quickly. They're coming forward here. Damsgaard clipping the ball forward, looking for Lewis Potter, but it's dealt with by Mavropanos, out for a Brentford throw in. About 10 or 11 minutes to go of normal time in this second half. It's still 1-1 in this independent off-tube studio commentary of Brentford at home to West Ham. Of course, Brentford took the lead so early, as they have done in the last 3 games through Bryan Mbeumo, and but then sat back a little bit too deep and allowed West Ham to come back into the game in the second half. And Tomas Soucek grabbed a bit of a scruffy equaliser. And since then, it's been a lot more open. And Brentford looking to come forward here. Ball forward looking for Mbeumo, who's dealt well by Kilman. Goes back to his goalkeeper, Areola, who's under pressure from Carvalho, who I have to say has been a lot more present, I think, this week compared to last.
Yes, he has. I mean, there's still been a few moments where I think his decision-making hasn't been perfect, but that's going to come with game time. But here comes Bowen now for West Ham. Yeah,
good chance for West Ham to put ball into the box, but Ayer does really well to win it. Not once, but twice. Actually, unbeknownst to him, Ayer, the ball was just under his feet, and he seemed to twizzle around, looking for where it was, and eventually sees it underneath his feet and clears long. Back to Areola then, who then puts another ball forward, looking for Ings, flicks it onto Jared Bowen. This is a big chance for West Ham. Bowen plays a ball across, looking for Somerville. Dealt with well. Now it's Soler. Can he have a chance on goal? Plays it wide to Somerville. Somerville's got a chance on his right boot, and it's blocked well in the middle of the park and out behind for a corner kick. It was Collins who made that sliding intervention to stop West Ham from taking the lead in the final few minutes of this game.
It was, and as this challenge is made just outside the box, it wasn't enough to really take the ball off, and as it's a really good challenge there at the edge of the 6-yard box. I mean, it's almost last ditch here from Brentford now, as West Ham pile on the pressure here late on.
Yeah, Brentford have a real some defending to do here. There's a lot of physical players here. Kilman and Soucek will be the targets of this in-swinging ball from Jared Bowen. Out-swinging ball actually on his left boot, so steps up to take it, one arm in the air, lifts it towards Mavropanos, but it's headed away by Mbeumo. Another poor delivery really from Bowen. The set pieces today have been fairly awful, I will say.
From both sides, yeah. The quality for the amount of corners and free kicks we've had has been very little for any attacking player to actually try and attack inside the box.
Yeah, long ball forward now for Areola, looking for Mavropanos of all people, who'd run forward, but I think he'd got a little bit too excited and just frayed in front of the Brentford back line, so the referee has pulled that one back for an offside. 9 minutes to go of this second half, and on the balance of play, if either team were to grab a winner, you couldn't really say that they wouldn't deserve it.
I think overall, West Ham would probably still feel over the 90 minutes the more aggrieved side if they were to go on and lose this game. I think Brentford, for their early lead, they've had a good little spell in the second half, but I just think overall West Ham have probably just about shaded it in terms of which side would be more value for the 3 points. But then, as I say, it doesn't really matter in any league game. If you can get the game over the line and win, then that's all that matters. And Brentford will certainly try and do that if they get half a chance. And it's Mbeumo now. Yeah,
Mbeumo facing up Wan-Bissaka, plays an overlapping ball to Damsgaard. Oh, his ball in the middle was a decent one, looking for Carvalho, but it's dealt with well by Todibo. And West Ham just clear their lines, but not as far as Mbeumo again. Squared up by Kilman, goes back to Damsgaard. Ball inside. It's really intricate play here from Brentford. It's Carvalho, whips in a nice ball, looking for Mbeumo, but it's cleared away by West Ham just about. And the Irons are now the team that look to be under a lot of pressure. Yeah,
that was a good little bit of pressure there from Brentford, trying to put the ball in twice. West Ham just about dealing with it, but now Brentford have lost the ball in attack, and Bowen is trying to get the ball away. But it's been a frustrating. I really will be interested to hear what both managers say after the game, because I think that at times both their teams have been disappointed. But Yarmolenko wins it back now for Brentford.
Yeah, Yarmolenko with a bit of space. He just robbed Wan-Bissaka and then gives it back to Mbeumo, who looks to shoot, but decides again against it and tries to clip it in behind for Yarmolenko, but West Ham just about managed to keep the ball. They clear it long though and lose it. Ball out on this right hand side now. Whipped ball into the box, looking for Mbeumo, but again Todibo just does enough to clear it long. Now it's into the feet of Damsgaard. Tries to flick it over the head of Kilman, but it just ran away from him a little bit. Now Wan-Bissaka's going to give chase this one, and it's an aerial collision there. It was actually Somerville running at the Brentford back line. I think he's taken out Collins, and the referee looks to be very aggrieved by that Somerville challenge, and they've stopped play. It was actually Ethan Pinnock who Somerville had challenged in the air, and due to the head collision laws being as they are at the moment, the referee just stopping play. I think he's just jarred his back a little bit.
Yeah, it's the way he's fallen is an awkward one there for Ethan Pinnock. He just needs a moment to catch his breath. I mean, I'm not sure if the physio is going to be needed here, but he doesn't look too happy at the moment there, Ethan Pinnock. Slowly but surely now he's able to get back on his feet. So just to run you through the scores very quickly, it's Arsenal 2, Leicester City 2, Brentford 1, West Ham 1, Chelsea 4, Brighton 2, Everton 2, Crystal Palace 1, Nottingham Forest 0, Fulham 1. And speaking of Fulham, the former Fulham man, Fabio Carvalho, is now going off here for Brentford. And he's going to be replaced by the young Turkish midfielder, Yunus Konak.
He is indeed. He came on last weekend, Konak, in their fixture, and was very busy. Got himself about, couldn't get an assist or get on the score sheet, but overall it wasn't too bad of a performance.
No, he signed last season. I mean, Brentford have had a jinx with long-term injuries. He signed last season and missed all of last season with an injury. He's just been getting back to fitness now, but he'll be very happy to get a bit of game time in the first team. Free kick to Brentford now to be taken by Mbeumo. Yeah,
it's much further back than the previous one. Mbeumo stands over it, left-footed ball. Every Brentford player is in the West Ham half. It's dealt with by Soucek only as far as Lucas Paqueta. There's an overlapping run, but Lucas Paqueta decides against it, shoots straight into the hands of Areola. It was a decent attempt, and Brentford's first on-target shot for a long, long time.
Yeah, it is the first one for a while. It's not. I mean, it's a decent effort from Lucas Paqueta, but it's straight down the middle. We needed to have a little bit more movement on that, a bit more rotation on the ball to try and surprise the goalkeeper. Meantime, here come West Ham.
Yeah, Soler with his foot on the ball, just controlling that ball in the midfield area. Goes back to his defence. Ball now at the feet of Kilman. Plays a long ball forward for Somerville. Takes it down well. Now it's Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka plays it back to Carlos Soler, who again is under pressure here and has to go back towards Kilman again. Now it's the feet of Bissaka. Somerville made a run inside, but Wan-Bissaka's ball was poor. Somerville just nicks the ball from Ayer, but Ayer does really, really well to try and keep hold of it. Then Wan-Bissaka just bullies the Brentford defence off the ball, has a little bit of space, well, actually not a lot of space, and does really well to skip away from an accumulation of Brentford defenders, but eventually the ball runs away from him and out for a goal kick.
Well, that was something off the schoolyard, that, wasn't it? Sort of flicking the ball into space and then knowing he's the quickest one, he's going to run after it and get it anyway, but the way he sort of managed to dupe two Brentford players, just about did enough there, did Vandenberg, when the ball was already going off for a goal kick anyway. Just made sure that it definitely was going out, and Brentford now are able to restart play, but still 3.5 minutes before we hit injury time.
Yeah, and I will say Wan-Bissaka's been a real kind of positive force in this West Ham side. He gets up and down the pitch so well, and I think if West Ham are going to have any success in the wide areas this season, he will be crucial to it. Ball forward for Brentford, dealt with well at the back there from Kilman. Lucas Paqueta just has a hold on the ball but can't quite keep it in play, and he just smashes the ball into the advertising board. I'm surprised the referee hasn't booked him for kicking the ball. In fact, as I say that, he has been booked. Needless yellow card there, and I think the referee has just kind of made that very clear that it was a needless yellow card to pick up there.
Yes, it was. I mean, it's a hot topic, isn't it, the kicking the ball away. We've already seen a whole compilation, a whole highlight reel of players who haven't been booked for kicking the ball away this season after the controversies of second yellows and red cards and what have you. But on that occasion, I think the referee is absolutely right. There's no need for that kind of petulance, and anything to try and reduce it is always going to be worth it.
Absolutely. You've seen images now of Lopetegui looking animated as ever. I don't think he's ever quiet and nullified on the touchline, and he'll be wanting his side to try and push for a winner late on. But it's Brentford throwing cleared away there from Kilman, though, all the way back to Pinnock, who seems to be okay after going down a few moments ago with a back injury.
Well, from Lopetegui's point of view, if you'd have said to him before the match, you're going to a Brentford side who are playing with confidence and they're going to score first inside the first minute, but you're going to come away with a point, you'd probably say, oh, he probably may even take that. But the way his side have played, he'll be frustrated that they're only drawing. They're going to try and go for the win, and here comes Danny Ings.
Yeah, it's a ball forward for Bowen. It was a sliding ball from Somerville, and Bowen just couldn't quite get on the end of that, so Flecken picks up and then boots it long. He wants to restart really quickly. It's a lovely ball out to Mbeumo, who's got a little bit of time to turn back, but he's squared up by Wan-Bissaka. He's forced to go backwards. Brentford just keeping hold of the ball, but Somerville's kind of trying to press forward. It's actually the substitute, Konak, who's trying to force the ball forward, but Somerville does well to pressure him backwards and out for a throw, which Brentford take and then go all the way back to Collins. Collins then goes out wide to Ayer, who's drifted a little bit more centrally. I think they're aware of that kind of attacking presence that West Ham have late on.
Yeah, from Brentford's point of view, you know, they'll obviously, if they get a chance to go forward, they'll try and take it, but they don't want to risk losing the 1 point they do have in this game, when they really have, in terms of attacking intent, they have been second best for long spells in the game this afternoon.
They have indeed, and Damsgaard tries to flick a ball forward to Konak, tries to hold the ball up and does well to kind of shuffle it away. Brentford just keep holding the ball, but Somerville makes a pretty good tackle there on the far side, out for a Brentford throw-in, which they do take quickly into the feet of Konak. Brentford have a little bit of time to try put a ball in the box, but West Ham stay robust defensively, and Brentford have to try and play some intricate passes through, which they do now. Ball forward from Damsgaard, but it's cut out by Wan-Bissaka. It's a dangerous ball back to his goalkeeper, which Mbeumo was nearly onto, but Areola just about clears his lines, and now it's back at the feet of Pinnock. He then goes back to Flecken. Bowen trying to press the Brentford keeper, and well, it's a bit of risky play there from Flecken, who then turns Bowen with a Cruyff turn. Just about gets away with it. It's a nice bit of play there from the goalkeeper. Bit of excitement in the final few minutes.
Yeah, well, I say goalies are expected to have that sort of confidence on the ball now. It looks good, of course, when they get away with it. When they don't, it's just highly embarrassing. But Flecken did well on that occasion. And we're just seconds away from our fourth official revealing how much added time there's going to be.
Yeah, about 10 seconds of normal time remaining before we do see the added time. Ball back now at the feet of Collins. Plays it inside to Damsgaard. Brentford keeping hold of the ball well here. Trying to maybe just play it around a little bit. Just test out this West Ham defence. Not that they haven't done in this game, but I think when you get into the final 5 minutes, which have been added on now by the fourth official, you don't want to commit too many bodies forward, but you also don't want to sit back too deep. And I think by just playing the ball around the edge of the box, Brentford are just trying to see if any opportunities do open up. It's Konak with a really nice ball to the back post, dealt with well by Kilman, who just heads it behind for a corner kick, and all of a sudden West Ham are under all sorts of pressure.
Well, they were, and for a second the Brentford player on the line was thinking about whether or not to try and go for the ball, but it was just had a little bit too much pace and bounce on it, so if he's going to try and control that and miss it, then obviously there's a chance that the ball could end up going out for a goal kick. So take what you've got. There is a corner kick. It's the 13th of the game. Brentford leads 7-6 in corners, and there's going to be a left-footed in-swinger from the right-hand side.
It will be. It's a delivery from the right-hand side. Not a bad one, looking towards Pinnock in the middle of the box, but it's cleared away by West Ham, only as far as Konak gets the ball out wide to Mbeumo. Got a bit of time to try put delivery in, left-footed, but it's over everyone's head.
Well.
And, at the back post, Ethan Pinnock's taken a bit of a tumble. He's claiming that his shirt's been pulled. The referee, Hooper, is having none of it, but I wonder if they might have a look at it.
The Brentford players have been quite animated about this. I mean, we'll wait and see. We know that VAR has been trying to use VAR a lot more sparingly this season. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those where it looks bad because Todibo's holding Pinnock by the shirt, but then I don't know. I mean, I think it's one of those where the referee probably looks at it, and the VAR referees will look at it and say, well, there's so much of that at every set piece that we can't be calling that every time, and it looks like they're going to leave it.
And also, I think you've got to judge whether or not Pinnock would have won the ball there, and because that ball was so high, and I don't think he would have been able to get any meaningful contact on the ball at the very least, I think the referees probably thought, well, we'll just give it the benefit of the doubt. But there's a late substitution here from Lopetegui. He's bringing off Jared Bowen for Irving. He's more of a holding midfield player, so I wonder if he is now going to just try and secure the point here away from home, Lopetegui, because that's a pretty crucial point for West Ham. They've had a lot of form issues in recent
they've not played well in recent games. They've conceded a lot of goals, but today they've come away from home, conceded first, and actually ended up looking like the better side for long spells. So, as I say, in terms of style points, they get a lot more than they would have had in the last couple of weeks for that very reason. And so there's a yellow card there as well, just as Brentford were trying to restart play. Referee obviously felt as though there might have been an obstruction there from Max Kilman, and he picks up the booking.
He does indeed. Another needless name to go into the referee's book. He's just on the back of Mbeumo and then kind of pulls his arm, but I think Mbeumo makes a bit of a meal of that one and kind of forces Simon Hooper's
Mbeumo wanted to make sure that that the opposition player definitely was going to get a yellow card, and he does.
Well, it's going to be a dangerous now free kick, which Flecken will take. Every Brentford player pretty close to the box, not quite inside the West Ham box, but forming a bit of a line of red and white on the edge. Flecken then plays a deep cross towards the back post into Damsgaard. It's going to bounce now towards the feet of Damsgaard. Plays a looped ball looking for Mbeumo. Can't quite get ahead of it. Now it's Janel. He has a chance to shoot, and he's taken out now. The referee waves his arms and says no penalty, but I think VAR will definitely have a look at this one because there seemed to be a bit of contact in the box there.
Well, they did. I mean, Janel's still down on the ground holding his leg like he's in some sort of real serious problem there. But wait and see exactly what the referee thinks about this. It has now gone out of play, and Janel is still writhing around in pain. But we'll see here as he goes for the shot. I mean, has he been taken out there? It looks like. I mean, the West Ham players are all very quick to sort of wave the finger and say no foul there, ref, no chance. But for the time being. The Brentford player is going to be checked. I mean, the referee's not interested in the penalty shout at all, so he's already sort of put his hands across there to say twice that that's not a penalty. It's just going to be a goal kick. But we'll see from this replay again. I mean, has he been fouled by Wan-Bissaka, or has he kicked Wan-Bissaka and hurt himself as he's gone for the ball? It's all very subjective in those situations, but I'd be surprised if VAR came back to say that's a penalty. Really.
Yeah, I think Simon Hooper's made the correct decision there by just waving it away, not allowing any kind of tension or pressure to be put on him in the final few seconds of this game. And then if needs be, if it was more of a penalty shout, then VAR would have intervened, and I think that's good refereeing there from today's match official. But yeah, VAR not intervening with that one, so play will restart with a West Ham throw-in deep inside their own half on the right-hand side. Mavropanos throws it long, about 15 seconds left to go of added time, and now West Ham have a chance to go forward. Soler was breaking through, but it's dealt with well by Collins, and he plays it forward. Mavropanos now stood up well by Lewis Potter, and then cleared away by Todibo. We've elapsed the additional time added, so there's not going to be much more of a chance to get forward for either team. West Ham do have a throw-in. Simon Hooper's not quite blowing his whistle yet, so maybe that penalty shout has added on maybe a few more seconds, maybe a minute onto the additional time. Throwed forward, looking towards Danny Ings, but it's cleared away well by Ethan Pinnock. Now it's Mbeumo with a bit of space. This could be the final chance of the game for Brentford. They're attacking through Damsgaard on that right-hand side. Played back to Ayer, then back to the feet of Collins, and they've kind of wasted that chance there, Brentford, to go forward.
Yes, they have. I thought that as I say, too many passes in midfield, and now the ball has been won back by West Ham. Just as I say that, there may still be one more chance for Lewis Potter down the left. It looks like the referee wants to play a full minute of additional time on top of the 5. Yeah,
plays it back inside towards the substitute Konak. His ball, it was deep, but headed away rather easily by Soler. Ball back to the feet of Damsgaard. Then wide to Mbeumo, but he stood up by Wan-Bissaka and Soler, and Bissaka comes away with the ball, and it just holds off 2 or 3 Brentford midfielders and wins his team a foul. Plays it short towards Irving, who turns rather riskily, but it pays off, gets it out wide to Soler. Soler then back to Wan-Bissaka, then coming forward again. It's a sweeping ball forward now. Can Swiville get on to the end of this one? No, it's dealt with by Ayer, and out for a West Ham throw-in. I think the referee will even let this one play as well.
I'm surprised now. I mean, I don't really, as I say, if we've had 5 minutes of time lost in 45 minutes, how the referee can find an extra 2 minutes in just the added time seems a little bit of a dark art. But as I say, it's not an exact science added time. I'm hoping that I'll still be around to see that happen. But it's a long throw here for West Ham, last chance of the game.
Mavropanos throws it, but it's not quite deep enough. Bounces for Soler, and his volley is tipped over the crossbar by Flecken, and this will be a corner kick.
Getting this time from ref. I mean, it's like, as I say, we've had over 2 minutes of added time, and will there be time for this corner kick? There won't be. The referee has blown full time just as West Ham are getting ready to take a corner.
Yeah, so it's full time here. West Ham players surrounding the referee, not happy with that decision, but it's finished. Brentford 1, West Ham 1.